Hello everyone, this is Anupriya, intern at UB Advocate under guidance of Jeevan Prakash sir on record, Supreme Court, India. So today I am discuss about the topic contract and its essential element. Section 2 subclause H subclause 1 defines contract as an agreement enforceable by law. Agreement is defined in section 2 subclause E as every promise and every set of promises forming the consideration for each other. A promise is when a proposal is accepted, it becomes a promise as defined in section 2 subclause B. The person who makes the proposal is called the promiser and the person accepting is called the promisee as defined in section 2 subclause C subclause 4. Thus, the definition of contract can be compiled as follows. When a proposal made by the promiser is accepted by the promisee and a promise is established between them, forming a consideration for each other, this becomes an agreement, and when this agreement is enforceable by law, it becomes a contract. Then, I'll come to the topic, essential element of a contract. The essential elements of a contract can be classified into two categories, that is substantive element and procedural element. Substantive element can be classified according to offer, acceptance, consideration, capacity, legality. Then procedural element considered a communication of offer, meeting of minds, communication of acceptance. First, I'll discuss about offer. It is also called proposal. It is defined under section 2, subclause A, subclause 5. When one person signifies to another his willingness to do or to abstain from doing anything with a view to obtaining the assent of other to such or abstinence, he is said to make a proposal. Every contract starts from an offer. Without an offer, there cannot be acceptance, and then no agreement, and then no contract. Thus, offer becomes an essential element for a contract. Essential of a valid offer. First, intention to obtain the acceptance. Second, intention to create legal relationship. Third, the offer must be certain. Fourth, a valid offer should not contain any term, the non-compliance of which leads to acceptance. Fifth, the offer must be communicated. Communication of offer. As it is essential for an offer to be communicated to be valid, Section 4 subclause 6 of Indian Contract Act states that the communication of the offer is complete when it comes to the knowledge of the person to whom it is made. Acceptance. Section 2B subclause 7 defines acceptance as when the person to whom the proposal is made signifies his assent thereto, the proposal is said to be accepted. Once the offer is extended, it is in the hands of the offeree to either accept or reject the proposal. Without acceptance of the offer, there cannot be no agreement whose enforceability by law result in a valid contract. Thus, acceptance is another essential element for the contract. Then another essential element is communication of acceptance. Communication of acceptance should be there as against the proposer when it is put in a course of transmission to him so as to be out of the power of the acceptor, as against the acceptor when it becomes to the knowledge of the proposer. For example, a proposer by letter to sell a house to B at a certain price, B accepts A's proposal by a letter sent by post. The communication of the acceptance is complete, as against A when the letter is posted, as against B when the letter is received by A. Any offer will not be considered to be accepted until and unless the knowledge of acceptance reaches the offerer. Thus, communication of acceptance becomes an essential element in order to establish a contract between two or more parties. Meeting of minds. Meeting of minds in contract law refers to the moment when both parties have recognized the contract and agreed to enter into its obligation. This is also called mutual assent. As a contract can be voided if it is formed by undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation. Thus, mutual assent is essential. Then I'll come on the part consideration. Section 2 subclause D subclause 8 defines consideration as when at the desire of the promiser, the promisee or any other person has done or abstained from doing or does or abstains from doing or promises to do or abstain from doing such act or absistence or promise is called a consideration for the promise. Capacity to contract. Capacity simply means competence or ability of the parties to come into a contract. A capable person is the one who is allowed or qualified to enter into the contract. Section 11, subclause 9 of Indian Contract Act defines who are competent to contract. First, First, major person. Second, person with sound mind, which is given under section 12, that defines unsound mind. Person not disqualified by law. The person not disqualified by law consists of convicts, alien enemy, insolvent, married woman, corporations. A person who is not capable cannot come into any contract. Thus, capacity to contract is an essential element for the contract. Legality, as section 2 subclause defines contract and is an agreement enforceable by law, the legality becomes the most important element of the contract. One cannot enforce a contract which is unlawful. Also, every agreement of which the object or consideration is unlawful is void. So, section 23 subclause 10 defines what consideration and objects are lawful and what not, should not be forbidden by law, or should not defeat provisions of any law, or should not imply injury to the person or property of another, or the court should not regard it as an immoral or opposed to public policy. Thus, legality is an essential element for the contract. So, these are the basic elements of the contract to be valid. Thank you.